Brains are useful for their purpose, but they are no substitute for brains.
All right, here we go.
I have to say, well done, Ray. Well done. Well played, my adversary. Well played.
Phoenix isn't gay, but if he was, he'd pick Freemo.
Oh yeah, he'd be living down there with you in the bunker, man. Woo!
Once you go free, you'll always do the Z.
Like one day of not going to Duncan, and you could get a controller, a new Xbox, possibly even a cord.
And now, the guys that went on a beer run for 2 years.
Welcome to BGFG episode. I have no idea what we're on. I mean, no,
476, I believe.
476. Yeah,
Here,
sounds about right.
Let me check the whiteboard behind me here. Yeah, okay. 476. Yep.
All right, 476. I know Chris Phoenix. And joining me, as always, my brother from another mother, Mr. Freemo Z. How are you doing this week, sir?
Fantastic.
That
I've been
is-
getting a lot of strange looks, though, last several days.
Why?
I don't know. I mean, I'm not
year.
doing anything different than normal. I'm still walking around in shorts and sandals when I go to the store and stuff. Apparently, you're not allowed to do that when there's snow on the ground.
No, you are not. No.
Well, maybe that's why I'm getting all the strange looks.
Yeah, that could be. Yeah,
One guy literally, we're at the convenience store, and he's getting ready to walk out. He sees people coming, so he kind of, he walks out and kind of holds the door, and then he catches me. I'm walking from other side of the gas islands, and he just stares the whole way.
Yeah, because you're out of your mind.
I'm like, it's not that cold, dude. He's like, yeah, okay.
Well, it's a little brisk up here.
This is what happens when a polar bear and a grizzly bear mate, right here.
I don't even have words for that. I don't.
I can handle the cold when need be.
Okay. Awesome. That is great there, buddy. So next week on Dr. Phil, we're going to discuss. All right, let's just get into
Is
this
your
week's.
friend a psycho?
There's a lot to get through. Yeah, I'm feeling a little bit under the weather today myself. We have a lot to get through. CES was at the beginning of the year, as it is every year. And we'll talk about that towards the end of the show, because it's CES. And I don't know if I'm just getting old and curmudgeon, but it's just not what it once was.
It ain't.
Nope. So let's get into this week's news, and we'll get that stuff covered.
BGFG News. You heard it here third.
So first up in this week's news, I have a question. First story of the new year. Has Microsoft just gotten so big that they just don't care what they say anymore?
Yeah,
Like,
pretty much.
At least Apple has a conscience, being that large. They have a conscience. They'll come out and say stuff. Like, they won't say stuff.
Okay.
I'm just saying, because Microsoft said that AI will lead to job losses. Which,
yeah.
And then, like, in the next sentence, he said, Microsoft President Brad Smith said that they're about to invest $80 billion in AI. And that's going to disrupt the economy and displace jobs.
Okay. Well. I'm so tired of people talking about this. Okay, look. This is just the latest cycle in the evolution of mankind. That's all it is. Okay? When the first guy figured out that he could drag that jagged rock through his patch of dirt, and he was able to grow a whole lot more food than the whole clan over there poking holes in the ground with their finger.
It's a wonderful analogy.
This is just the next evolution of that. I mean, we went through this with an agrarian society where you no longer needed 100 people in the field because now they've got these machines you can pull behind your horse and they do, the work of 10 men.
Right.
Then you get the industrial revolution with the steam engine and then
Right.
electricity. And then, I'm sure there was people screaming about how electricity was going to ruin mankind because now all the gas lamplighters were going to be out of work because they didn't have to go around and light all the street lights every night because they were electric. It's the same difference.
It's an evolution. I don't disagree.
If you don't want to be out of a job, go find one that AI ain't going to replace. That's the end of it because it's coming and there ain't nothing you can do about it.
Right.
Now,
Look,
with that said, do I think it's right? No.
so I don't disagree with you. It's an evolution. Not a revolution, it's an evolution. EA CEO Andrew Wilson said the same thing, that the opportunities from AI far outweigh many of the challenges ahead. So, I mean, if it's used well, as we've said a bazillion times on the show, if AI is used well, then it's going to lower the barriers, the barrier of entry for a lot of different professionals, a lot of different things. It's going to result in a lot more, I don't want to say free time, but it is going to take away jobs. It's a very touchy subject because it's going to take away jobs. There's stuff that's being done right now.
The closest thing in our lifetime that you could equate, because obviously we weren't there for the invention of the cotton gin and then, the Industrial Revolution and all that stuff. But if you look at robotic automation,
Yep.
that would be the closest thing in our lifetime to this, where instead of someone sitting on an assembly line with a air drill going zzz, zzz, every time the chassis came by and putting that one bolt in, right? That guy got put out of a job because of a robotic arm.
Right. I just hope this
He
doesn't
found
turn
something else to do.
I just hope this doesn't turn into Idiocracy, the movie Idiocracy.
Oh, it
Because
absolutely will.
PUBG, look at PUBG.
Society is already dumber today than it was 10 years ago. Way dumber than it was 100 years ago.
I don't disagree with that.
The math you learned in elementary school, like what would be the equivalent of 5th, 6th grade now,
Yeah.
was like college entry level math way back in the day.
Yeah. It's even, you can
I
go all
saw
the
a
way.
video the other day and this guy was blown away by the square, carpenter square,
Yeah.
and using it to do a 45-degree angle using a plumb line.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, oh my God, this guy's been a carpenter for how long and he didn't know about that?
Yeah. There's because a lot of
they've been using the plumb line since Egypt.
yes. It's just we have to hold on for dear life.
Yeah.
Because things aren't going to be the same.
Oh no.
I'm the first one to say, I was just having a conversation a couple months back that I can't work on my truck. I just can't. And I was a mechanic in my earlier life. And I've always worked on my cars and my dad taught me things. But
I came this close to taking the car to the dealership to have the brake pads and the rotors done this last time.
Yeah. Yeah, because you had a problem one time.
Well, it's the automatic. It's got the electronic parking brake.
Yeah.
And when you turn the car off, that thing engages. And you cannot take the rear wheel stuff off with that engaged.
Yeah. Oh, man.
I found a workaround, and it took a while, and I got it. But, it's almost not worth the frustration. That and that you have to have a specialty tool to do anything anymore.
Yep. And the AI stuff is everywhere. Like even PUBG, the game PUBG, which started the whole battle royale, even that is going to have AI in it for NPC characters. So whether it's your teammate or otherwise, they're going to have that. But I just want us to slow down as a whole. Use AI where it would help the most. That's you want to get everybody on board. That's what you should do.
The first thing that needs to be done, and this is going to sound stupid to a lot of people, but they need to come to a consensus on Asimov's 3 laws.
Yeah. Yeah.
Before moving forward with any more. I mean, Period.
Right.
Because if you have somebody out there rogue doing this stuff, it doesn't matter what you put in place in polite society. If somebody out here is doing something with
Yep.
AI that could ultimately end up corrupting, for lack of a better term, the good AI, you're done. We saw that in that experiment that we talked about before the Christmas break, where that one robot convinced all the other robots to leave their stations at the museum or whatever it was.
Yep.
So, yeah. But anyway,
So hold
enough
on.
of my digressions. Uh-oh. Did you just get the bat call?
Hold on. I'm messing stuff
Is
up. over
Gotham
here.
in trouble, Bruce?
It might be. My phone is completely frozen now.
About that.
Yeah. All right. Let's move on to the next one. What would the new year be without a hack? The Treasury got hacked. Of all places, the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency says that there was no indication of a wider spread attack. Okay, so just the fucking Treasury then.
Yeah.
Like, come on. It's the Treasury. Where to begin with this one? So CISA says that it was a Chinese-backed attack. Maybe, but it seems like everything gets blamed on China. I'm not a China sympathizer, but every single thing gets blamed on China. And it might not always be China. The hackers had remote access to the Treasury employees' workstation and all their unclassified documents. And here's the thing. We talked about it last year several times. The hackers were able to obtain a private key from one of the Treasury's vendors. Third-party vendor.
And that
The
means
name
that
of the-
they can now unencrypt any traffic between the two until that key is changed.
Right. And they're probably...
So we'll find out that they've had that key for like 3 years. And it never got upgraded, never got
Yep.
changed. Ugh.
So, I'm just... the third-party vendor's name is called Beyond Trust. So the tech support department of Beyond Trust leaked the allowed access. This is, again, creating jobs. Fine, create jobs by taking out the third party. Just take them out. It's not worth it. It was also released that the hack was directed towards the Treasury's Global Sanction Office. Global sanctions. Wonderful. Here's some help from me and Fremo to you. Stop using third parties. It's really not harder than that. Don't use them. You're getting yourself into trouble every single time. Let's move on to some other news, because apparently the year's going to start off really, really strange. So Getty Images, which is a online resource for pictures, essentially, stock photos, has always been in competition with Shutterstock, which is another one. And they're pretty much the last two. But Getty Images and Shutterstock have agreed to merge. And I do believe those are the only two real, like stock photo companies. Or at least the two most popular. I don't know anybody that uses anything other than those two.
Yeah, they're big, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's going to be a $3.7 billion company now. Good for them for taking stock images of little puppies in a field.
Right?
Speaking of mergers, there's another one that's surprising. Right at the beginning of the year, Disney is going to be combining with Hulu Live TV. Disney's going to combine Hulu Live TV with Fubu, or Fubo. Now, Fubo is a replacement for your cable provider. It's not really too much different than YouTube TV, Hulu TV, Sling. Fubu is nearly 300 channels, and you can get Fubo you can get Fubo for $90 a month. And believe it or not, that's a normal price to ditch cable. Like that's nothing. Picture.
Yeah, that's apparently that's their new company logo.
Yeah. So this is normal pricing to ditch cable. But you still need your internet from your cable company. So that's something that you're going to have to worry about. And my cable company's video package is starting to become less than most of the other streaming services. Like, you really have to look at cutting the cord now, because it's a question now, as opposed to before. Why are the streaming services better? Mostly because cable companies never were innovative. Even when I worked there, they just didn't. They just sat right back and watched the money roll in. All their attempts to progress toward the future always seemed like half-ass at best. Fubo streaming, for instance, does make it attractive. For that $90, you get nearly 300 channels, unlimited DVR, regional sports, 4K, and the biggest thing, this is the big one, is that you can watch it up onto 10 screens. And that's the biggest problem I see in 2025 with the streaming services, is that you're going to have to.
Well, they're getting greedy. They're going through the same cycle that cable used to go through, right? Back in the day, if you originally got cable, you stuck a splitter on your line.
Yeah.
And you had it on 2 TVs, and then maybe you put another splitter on, and now you had it on 3 TVs. It was the same price. Then they started charging you by how many
outlets,
splits you had. The same thing with streaming. It's like used to, you had an account, you could log into anything and watch, and now, you can do 5 screens, you can do 3 screens, you can do unlimited for $100 a month. It's ridiculous.
But how they got around that too was because what I would see when I first started in the cable company is I had to go do disconnects, and the disconnects were mostly between apartment houses, like large 3 tenements. And what they would do is one person would get cable, like the little old lady on the first floor of one house, and somebody go into the basement and put that splitter on there and send it everywhere, and everybody got free. Then they started encrypting the channels so that you had to have a cable box or a cable converter to convert the signal. That helped, but then you could start buying those online when the internet started becoming popular. So it's always been a fight to get paid for the service with the cable companies, but at the same time, they have never innovated. They're and inside, people say, "Oh, there's 100 channels with nothing on." I can guarantee you, Fubo, out of those 300 channels, there's probably 200 channels that you'll never watch ever. That's just the way things go. It's just it's nice to see more stuff combining, but Hulu, I have Hulu Live TV. It's fine. I don't need another 400 channels, 300 channels. I really don't. I'm good just the way I am.
Well, on the plus side, if you have MGM or Stars on Prime Video, you can now get both of them for one low monthly subscription of $11.99 instead of paying $19 independently for the 2.
Well, that's great, because Stars is pushing out those great movies from the 90s.
Yeah. we were on a Jurassic Park kick with the oldest grandson, and it's so funny because they're like, "Oh, they're going to make us pay for them now because we've watched them so many times." I'm like, "No, Stars just picked up the deal to have those exclusive for a period of time."
Right. It's exactly what happened.
If you want to watch them, add Stars. That's how I found out, because we already had MGM. It's like, you can add Stars or you can bundle these two. And I'm like, for $2 more? Yeah, let's bundle.
Yeah. Okay, so last news story this week is something out of a Sherlock Holmes movie. 2 people were found dead in the landing gear compartment of a JetBlue plane. Like, JetBlue doesn't have enough problems.
Here's the crazy thing. I was reading through the story. They were found after a routine after-flight maintenance, and then a couple lines later, they don't know how long they've been there.
Right.
So you don't always check the landing gear after you just said
it is JetBlue. It is JetBlue.
And now, okay.
Names weren't released, and the technical cause of death is still under investigation. Now, here's
hypoxia.
Here's how badly this investigation is going to go.
It's either going to be hypoxia, hypothermia, or a combination of the two. Because that's not a pressurized area of the plane.
Right. But the plane also, that plane was going from Jamaica, Salt Lake City, New York to Fort Lauderdale.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't care. I don't care if you're above Salt Lake.
No.
Jamaica,
You're missing my
Fort
point.
Lauderdale or New York at 30,000 feet. It's cold.
You're missing my point. I'm saying that somebody can get shoved into landing gear of a plane in any one of those locations quite commonly, I would think.
Yeah.
Miss a payment, shit could happen.
Yeah, they may have been dead when they got there. Who knows?
All right, let's get to this week's music. This week's music is who the hell is this week's music? I am not doing great today. It's Down. It's Down, and the name of the song is
Oh, the Crow.
Stone the Crow. Yeah. We'll catch you on the other side for some Dick style news.
I want you to do me a favor.
What's that? Yeah. Yeah, I want to try. All right. A game, got it. All right. Here's Down. Oh, that's weird. Where the hell did that secondary music come from? Okay, so
Wasn't on my end.
yeah, so you drinking anything this week? Oh, what is that? Oh, look at you, little Jack Honey. Good on you. Nothing like Jack Honey right there. A beautiful thing. Like mother's milk. Well, here's to you, buddy. I'm going to drink
Hold
my
on. We're not
Garden.
there yet.
Oh, we're not. Oh, and a Miller Lite. Okay. All right. Shot of whiskey and a Miller Lite. To you and yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers. Smooth.
That's good stuff right there. I don't
It
care what
is.
anybody says.
It is. It is good
I
stuff.
think I like that better than the Jack Daniels honey.
That is Jack Daniels honey.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I meant Jim Beam.
Yeah.
Sorry.
The Jim Beam one doesn't taste bright.
Yeah.
The Jack Daniels one does. Let's get into this week's games because there is a lot to get to.
Gaming.
Well,
Okay, let's just get into it in the new year. We got hopes. We got dreams.
quick
PlayStation.
addendum to his previous statement. There's a lot of games to get into after we get past this first story.
PlayStation games for January. We have Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League, Need for Speed Hot Pursuit Remastered, because why not have a remastered game? And the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe from 2013. So a game that didn't do well, and two games that are refreshes. All right, Sony. I guess you're gonna start strong, maybe. But again, go ahead.
Oh, but we got some great Sony news coming up. I will say that.
Okay. Game Pass for January. Over on the Xbox side, Carrion, Road 96, Lightyear Frontier, My Time at Sandrock, Robin Hood, Sherwood Builders, Rolling Hills, where you make sushi, make friends. Diablo, and UFC 5, if you have EA Play. And then you have Eternal Strands, Sniper Elite, Citizen Sleeper. They might not be bangers, but at least it's more than Sony's given us.
Okay, first of all, I know what people are going to say. You're bagging on Sony for bringing back a game from 2013, and Xbox is bringing back Diablo? Yes, it's Diablo.
It's Diablo. I think that's on the 16th or 17th.
I'll put that up against the whatever Paradox
Oh, absolutely.
game that was
Absolutely.
any day of the week.
Yeah. Diablo came out in 97 and it still works well.
Yeah.
And that's going to be on January 14th, so 2 days from this recording. This is the CES time of year, which we talked about. Sony announced some long-awaited upgrades, finally, over on the game side, which I thought was cool. When Sony announced the PS5 way back, everyone was surprised that there was only a white option. Like, they've never really done that before. It's always been like not multicolor. It's always been a black PlayStation 2, a black PlayStation 3. That's the way they've always been. When the PlayStation 5 came out, it was all white. Everything was white, and nobody I know of liked it. In fact, the white one that I had over here would get smudges just from sitting there. Like the white attracted the dirt. And now the entire lineup is going to be available in black. Before you could just get the black side plates, now you can get everything.
So are all the black versions for the PS5 stuff, are they coming with any kind of performance upgrades or anything, or they're literally just releasing
just
a
black.
black color now?
Correct. Yeah, they were hard to get
I
before.
retract what I said earlier about we had some exciting Sony news later in the show.
Take that back, huh?
Yeah. I was trying to be on your side, Sony, but you're literally just
Also announced at CES.
hey, in
it-
3 months, let's release a purple one just to keep people from realizing we haven't done any games in 6 months.
well, they do. They did actually release a purple one, purple plates and purple controller.
No,
Also-
I mean like not plates, but like an actual purple PlayStation.
That would be something innovative that they would finally do. NVIDIA announced their 50 series cards, which everybody's been waiting for and alluding to. They say that the budget-friendly one would be the 5070. And that's going to give you performance of a 4090 for $550. Good on ya, NVIDIA.
Yeah.
About time. Now, the 570 Ti is going to be $750, which I think is the better choice out of the 570, the 5070 and the 5070 Ti. I would spend a little bit extra money for the Ti. But the 5080 is going to be $1,000, which is, again, one of those cards that it's like, oh, okay, yeah, probably not going to sell a lot. But then you're going to have all the people that have to have the biggest, brightest, and best, which would be the 5090. It's going to have 32 gigabytes of onboard memory compared to the 4090 that has 24. And they claim it's going to double the speed of the current 4090. Now, I have a 4090 in the studio computer here, and I can tell you that this thing doesn't even sweat. It's not even trying most of the time. And it handles all games at the ultra settings. So the fact that this thing is going to be double the speed of the 4090, I don't know what you need it to do at this point. At $2,000. $2,000 for that card. Oh, are you doing AI? Yeah, making the AI symbol sound, whatever. I don't care. $2,000 for a card. That's outrageous.
Skynet can't take over if it can't crunch.
And it'll be using everybody's computer that you left on. And finally, in stick style, Sony, not knowing what the hell to do with their money, will be making a live-action Helldivers movie. Sony, we already have one. It's called Starship Troopers. At least look at your previous endeavors like Uncharted, Gran Turismo, or your Twisted Metal TV show. I mean, Last of Us did okay, but the other ones were garbage. Stop doing this shit. Okay? You should have already looked at
Uncharted actually would have been okay if they could have released it when they first talked about it with the actors that they wanted. I think it would have turned out better.
I think Sony's hands in it would have ruined it regardless. Something would have happened.
I didn't say it would be great. I said it would have turned out better. And there was a whole lot of room for better.
Yeah. So, again, the Helldivers movie, I don't know. I don't know what you're going to do with that. It's a waste of money.
I
It's
think
a waste
it is
of money.
too, because I really don't know how you're going to take something as dynamic as what they've done with Helldivers 2 and try and make it into a movie unless you're wanting to build a franchise, a universe out of it.
Even then,
But what about the fact that they're going to try and do one for Horizon Zero Dawn?
I mean, an outdoorsy movie with Zero Dawn, I could see that getting some sort of traction if you get the touchy-feely actors and actresses. But Helldivers, it's not going to translate well. It's just not. It's just not.
Especially not since that one dude's gone. The guy, I just blanked on his name. He was in he was actually in the Marine Corps, and then he transitioned and did movies. He was the one drill instructor in
Earl
Platoon
something.
or,
Yeah. Early.
or Full Metal Jacket or whatever it was. Yeah, that guy. Like I could totally see that dude like in a role in that movie.
Yeah.
Like and making like 80% of the movie seem worth it with just him in that role.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Although in about 20 years, maybe 50, when we find out that AI has actually been running Sony for the last 6 years, things will make more sense.
Let's get to this week's tech news, which is actually just a review of CES. So not a lot of Vegas this year outside of what we've come to expect from CES in the past several years. Larger TVs, better panels, lots of flu, lots of illnesses, and of course AI was a big mention over there. Now in the next couple of weeks, I'll be dribbling in just the crappy electronics that came out of CES because it takes a couple of weeks to sift through all the stuff and find the absolute crap. Like there's a little Bluetooth cat that sits on the side of your coffee mug that blows air into your coffee mug. Why the do you even need that? Why do you need it Bluetooth? Like there's so many questions I have. But this week I want to talk about some of the stuff that's a little bit more entertaining, a little bit better, for lack. Why you giving me that shifty eye? All right, so
Here we go. Unleash the hounds. I'm ready.
The standout I thought. Now I'm a Dell computer fan. I like the Dell computer. Oh, before I forget, you and I are big fans in the business world of the IBM.
I liked Dell a long time ago.
Okay, hold that thought. We are big fans of the ThinkPads, the IBM ThinkPads. They are phenomenal. Are these boys arguing? The big fan of the ThinkBook, the IBM ThinkPads with the nubbins in the center of the keyboard. They have now discontinued the nubbins. Yeah, right there. There's the nubbins on yours. They'll
bring it back.
Oh, I hope so because that's
they will, and I'll tell you why they'll bring it back. They at one point got rid of the tactile buttons.
Yeah.
And you had to, on the touchpad, you had to like click either the left or the right corner of the touchpad.
Yeah.
For your mouse button. That lasted for like 1.5 generations. And then they're like, everybody hated it and they brought it back.
Yeah.
So as soon as they get rid of that, yeah. There'll be enough complaints. Because that's literally the biggest standout feature for me is that little
nubbins,
joystick, mouse, whatever you want to call it, nubbins in the middle of the keyboard, because I can sit there without having to move my hands. I can type, I can move my mouse, I can do everything right there.
Yeah, it's not like it's not just eye candy. It actually works. It does things. All right, so like Fremo said, Dell was a different company a long time ago. Definitely a different company.
Yeah, when they came out of the box, man, the hardware that they were putting in for the price points that they were charging, they were top tier.
Solid computers. And they've fallen off a bit over the years. But I think they're about to make a superstar comeback. The biggest thing at CES was Dell's announcement. Dell has decided to retire the XPS, Inspiron, and Latitude names. Why are you shaking your head? I think this is a good thing.
I'm just picturing the meeting. Somewhere shortly after Thanksgiving, a couple weeks before Christmas. All right. What do we got finalized for CES? Yeah, about that. Guys, we got to come something big. R&D hasn't finished anything yet for next year. We ain't got nothing.
Yeah, but they're
all right. I need y'all to think outside the box.
Yeah, boy, did they.
The guy that sat down there all year and hasn't said a word in any of the meetings, just like, how about we just drop all the line names, just call everything Dell.
Just save us a bunch of money. So yeah, they're going to change it all to, it's just going to say Dell on the computer, or it's going to say Dell Pro or Dell Pro Max. Sound familiar? Like a certain fruit company? It's worked for them. Why not? Because I really wish HP would do this, because HP has a ridiculous amount of SKUs. Like they have so many different product names and lines that you have no idea what you're getting half the time. And companies don't even get the same things. Like a HP computer that you're looking at Walmart is completely different than the one that you're looking at Target, and completely different from the one that you're looking at Best Buy.
That's like the consumer product of Lenovo is called Idea.
Yeah.
And the business brand is called Think. And can you get the same hardware in an Idea? Yeah, but you have to custom order it.
Right.
They don't just come with the hardware that the Think brand does.
And so I thought that was pretty big for Dell. I just hope that they continue with that trend of reinventing and make their computers what they once were, as opposed to computers that suddenly don't
Yeah, I
work
can
after.
give a crap what you call it as long as it works right.
Right, exactly. They're also bringing back a wonderful little line because they also own Alienware, which I'm a gigantic fan of. Old Alienware and new Alienware. And I love the people that
How
come.
are they going to handle that? Is it just going to be called Dell and then have like an A on it for Alienware or
No, they're keeping
AW?
Alienware. No, they're keeping Alienware. But they're bringing back.
D-L-A-W, Dell Law. There you go. You get you one of them there Dell Laws?
They're keeping
That's
the
big
Alienware.
money right there, the Dell Law.
It annoys me when I hear people, oh, I like old Alienware. When I hear somebody like one of my kids say, I like the old Alienware, what exactly are you talking about? Because I'm pretty confident you're too young to remember the original Alienware way back.
Yeah.
Like with Falcon Northwest and Voodoo, all those other boutique companies. When Dell finally bought them, it just kind of went downhill. It really did. They had a few triumphs, right? The ALX case, if you want to look that up, that's our listeners can look at the ALX case. That was phenomenal. And then they kind of went downhill. The case that I have upstairs, which is the R8 model, that was probably the worst airflow case that's ever been designed. I mean, it's just brutally bad. There's one fan in it. But mine has worked great. The other two that I had in the house crapped out, and I can't tell you how many I've repaired. Then they came out with the R15, which I have right here in the studio, which fixed all of that. 3 fans in the front, exhaust fan on the back and top, and on the side you get holes in the side of the. It's far superior. And now they went and they did another one that supposedly has bad airflow. This time though, they're bringing back the Area 51 name. So now you can get an ultra high-end Alienware is already high-end enough, but the Area 51 is literally the best of the best. And it's road-tested, and it's used to be
Pros
bulletproof.
rocking a 51.
Yeah, it's a great machine. We haven't seen the Area 51 line in years. Dell put it that they'll be taking back their throne of ultra high-end gaming, which I thought was nice to see them come out with a little bit of balls. And it's going to be stuffed with all the best parts. What I thought was interesting was the way they're going to cool it, because they're known to have cooling issues, except for the model that I have. They decided to use positive pressure in the case, meaning that they're only going to use intake fans, and the exhaust is going to be passive airflow out the back. I thought that was really interesting. They're claiming that doing it that way is giving 25% more air, 13% cooler, and 45% quieter. I'm interested to see how these are gonna work out.
That actually makes sense.
Think so?
It really does. Yeah, from a physics standpoint, having the greater internal pressure is going to force the air out.
Yeah.
And depending on how they vent it, just the venting process itself will cause cooling to occur.
Think so? Well, you know, okay,
Absolutely.
I'll take your word for it.
Absolutely. Okay, so here's a little science experiment you can do at the house.
Okay.
Get a box fan, right?
Yep.
Set it down in the middle of a room, turn it on, set up a thermometer however far away from it you want.
Okay.
All right. Test the ambient temperature away from the fan, then test it from in front of the fan, say at a foot or 2 feet.
All right.
You might notice a slight difference. Take that same box fan, get you a bunch of 2-liter bottles, cut them in half, get a piece of cardboard, put holes in it for the top of the bottle to go into.
Yeah.
Okay. And then tape that piece of cardboard with those pieces of bottle in between the fan and the cardboard to where all the air is getting forced out those nozzles.
Yeah.
Instead of just thermometer in the same place, turn the fan on the same speed, and I guarantee you'll notice a significant temperature drop.
Okay.
So slightly different because the thermometer's on the outside of the case. In this instance, you're going to have all the heat getting pushed out that way. But that's an example of having the high pressure, low pressure.
Yeah.
In inside the case versus outside the case. It's going to force faster airflow basically out of the case, which will by default keep it cooler.
Well, I'm interested to see it. They're also going to be reviving their Area 51 laptops. Again, same thing. You're going to get 16 and 18-inch models. It's got a great looking anodized design with a flip-flop like teal paint on it. It is pretty. It is pretty.
Anodized. Got that right.
Yes, I did.
First try.
I practiced it a bunch. But the
That
most
hooked on
distinctive...
phonics I gave you for Christmas is working.
It is. The most distinctive feature is on the bottom where they installed a piece of Gorilla Glass. I have a picture up in the show. And it's got a small vent under it as well with the glass. So the glass lets you see the insides, which is, I don't know, it's a cool factor. It's Gorilla Glass. And at first, when I showed this to my wife, he's like, oh, that's going to get broken. Okay, I would agree. But when you're talking about an Alienware Area 51 16 and 18-inch model, that is not a laptop. That is a desktop replacement. It's not going to be, it shouldn't be moving around a lot. This is not something you should be buying your kid to take to school, do his schoolwork. It's too big.
And it's Gorilla Glass.
That's good.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying.
Oh,
Most
right.
people don't even understand what Gorilla Glass is.
Yeah.
I had a phone with the Gorilla Glass, and guy knocked it off the bar, hit the floor, and he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry." I'm like, "It'll be fine." He's like, "You're not worried about it? It bounced off the stool," and I'm like, "It'll be fine. Don't worry about it." And he picks it up, and he's like, "Yeah, it looks like it's okay." And I was like, "Yeah, I told you it'd be okay." And I pulled out my pocket knife, flipped it open, and went tap 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 tap. I was like, "See, it's Gorilla Glass. It's fine." And everybody was like,
So they say that the window panel in the
"I
vent
was like,
is
do
gonna
that
help,
with your."
it's going to help with airflow, and they're going to claim 35% better airflow. Now, again, being an Area 51 laptop is going to have 12 terabytes of PCIe SSD storage. A 5090 in it. A 5090. And it's going to be a 200-watt power supply. Good luck with that brick in your backpack. That is going to be a massive brick. I know because I had one. What the hell was it? Yeah, this is the Area 51. I had the X51, which had a similar power supply on it, and the thing was massive. And it's external. Huge. So good luck with that brick. How much is that one? That
That's
brick
the
you're
one
holding up.
on mine, and it is
180?
no, this is 230.
230. Yeah, and that's a honker. That's a big one.
That's a big size brick,
Yeah, it is. Yep. And then
but it is running my P series Lenovo,
yes.
which
And then
it's a workstation replacement too. I mean, thing's got Xeon processors, crap ton of memory,
Oh yeah.
stupid
And
crazy space.
another Alienware line that never gets as much attention, I think, is their OLED gaming monitor. I've had several of their monitors over the years, and I have never had another monitor that looked as good as those.
I guarantee you 60% of the people out there wouldn't even know that Alienware had a monitor, if not more.
I would agree. And they're top not like they don't go crazy. They just go, here's the best monitor we can make for gaming, period. Like I have 3 Asus monitors right here. And I think they're a year apart. And they produce different colors. It's just a pain in the ass. Alienwares always look great. This one that the link in the show notes is for a 27-inch 4K OLED. You're gonna have Dolby Vision HDR, Visa Display HDR, True Black 400 certification, a 3 millisecond response time, and 240 hertz refresh. Going to be
What about the
available.
166 PPI?
Okay. I must have
Pixels
skipped
per
it.
inch?
I know. I must have skipped over it. It's going to be available in March for $900. So it's on the expensive side for a 27-inch, but I can tell you right now, it will look amazing. If 27-inch is your size,
those specs.
yeah, it's going to look amazing.
I mean, 166 pixels per inch. That's a lot.
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
that's a lot.
per inch. Yes. There was a few surprises at CES as well that I didn't see coming. TiVo is back, and I think this is a brilliant idea. We've talked about this for years, you and I.
You know what? When I saw this story, it immediately gave me hope.
Yeah. Yes. It gave us hope. I
There's
love
like there was three different things that popped into my head. Well, if TiVo can come back, then boom, boom, boom. Name them.
WebOS.
That was number one.
WebOS is the first one. What are the other ones? Tell me.
What did I carry for years before they were no longer available?
Oh, BombOS? What then?
Before I started carrying my Motorola's.
Nokia? I don't know. What?
BlackBerry.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, BlackBerry. Gosh, BlackBerry. So, yeah, it's TiVo.
And the third one?
No idea. I didn't get the other two.
Well, you actually said it, but it wasn't number two. Nokia.
Yeah, Nokia would be nice to have a company
With
like
their
that
phones.
back. Yes.
With, specifically their OS, not necessarily the phones per se, but
Right. So I had a TiVo back in the day, loved it. And the best part about TiVo is I have never, ever seen a better algorithm. If you liked a show, within 2 or 3 more shows that you liked, it would give you 50 shows that were absolutely ones that you liked. It was really, really well done. It is that suggested for you. Instead of being
I just thought
curated.
of a fourth one.
What's the fourth? AI? AOL, fuck off. AOL. Shut up. So when you see the suggested for you, you look at that curation and you think to yourself, man, why I would never watch that movie. Why did you even suggest that to me? That never happened with
I know.
TiVo. That never happened with TiVo. The TiVo OS is going to be available on Sharp TVs. Good on you, Sharp, for staying in the game. And now before you even
so something I do on occasion when I'm at work and I'm bored, I'll log into one of the streaming services and I'll select somebody else's account that's on there, like from the house or whatever.
yeah.
And I'll watch some just totally random stupid, crazy crap and just let it run like all day. Right? Watch like a whole season while I'm at work. And then, yeah, totally mess up their algorithms. It's hilarious.
Now we've said
Like, I didn't watch this. Why am I getting baking shows?
We've said on the show so many times that TVs are getting out. TVs are getting out of control, like big time out of control. There is more shit on them, and there's all the apps that you want. Yeah, the idea is to have the TV so that you can just turn it on and all your apps are there, all your streaming services. Like I've said before, I have an Apple TV which does those. The way Apple TV has recently done it under the latest download was that on the Apple TV icon, when you click on that, it curates all the stuff from your different streaming services. But it's still done by them. There's certain ones, streaming services, they don't have in that panel, and there's some that they do. And then some of them get some of the information, some of them get all the information. So it's really a hit or miss. TVs have interfaces that are absolutely confusing, screwed up, messed up. I'm looking at you, LG. Just horrible settings. This is going to make it super, super easy now. And I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be nice and simple. You're just going to start it up. It's going to look like my Apple TV interface where it's just right there. You're going to pick the movie that you want. It's going to tell you right below it what services has it. You can make a decision whether to buy it to a new service, or you can make a decision to buy or rent the movie. So I think this is very good, and it's keeping a company like Sharp in business. Because
the only drawback to this whole thing is it's going to be on a Sharp TV.
Well, I think 2025 is going to be the year for interfaces, because we're getting to the point now where it's just there's so much on the TV screen. I can't tell you how many people I get talk to me about it, like I'm going to change it, but they talk to me about it. But I can't use the TV; it's too confusing. I can't find anything. I hit a button one time, and now I have Spanish on the side, and I can't shut it off. So that's the type of thing that normally goes on. But it's nice to have it.
That's why you buy an Xbox.
or a PlayStation.
No, I'm pretty sure I said Xbox.
Pretty sure that Sharp TV will be my next TV for the basement, or as I call it, the husband timeout room. That's when I
Yeah.
get sent down.
It's kind of I don't know why they haven't figured out yet that putting us in the doghouse is what we're actually wanting. Because we got some pretty nice doghouses now.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. So anyway, the TiVo in the Sharp TV is going to resemble very much an Apple TV, which I'm telling you is probably the easiest user interface. But they're not going to have the hangups that Apple has. First of all, you have to be all in on the Apple ecosystem to get the full potential of the Apple TV. And secondly, it goes by what apps you've installed and who they have partnered with. TiVo doesn't have
I have a question.
What?
Recently added the Apple TV subscription to our Prime because she wanted to watch a show and that was the only place we could find it.
Yeah.
I've kind of browsed the catalog that came with that subscription, and outside of a bunch of Charlie Brown stuff, I'm not seeing a whole lot of good things.
No, there's not a lot in Apple's system. There's not. They make their own movies and or make their own TV shows, and they're either hit or miss. This is what I'm saying. TiVo.
Deal with their miss.
Huh?
We've tried to watch like 3 different series and can't get through the first season because it's just like, what is this shit?
Right. Yes. Yes. That's the problem. Now, this is where TiVo comes in. TiVo,
there was one movie that was decent. I don't remember the name of it, though.
TiVo, this is where I like TiVo. TiVo just curates. Where Apple TV, you have to have a subscription. TiVo's just going to curate the stuff. It's up to you to have your subscriptions or not, which is great. They just aggregate the content.
No, I was just trying to figure out what the hell Apple was actually trying to do with their Apple TV programming.
Oh, their programming is not great.
Okay, I didn't know. I didn't know.
No.
Is it something that you have to be like in the Apple ecosystem to understand and appreciate? Or
no, there's just not there because they're a $4 trillion company. They don't care. They'll just make a movie whenever they feel like it. They have that Brad Pitt and George Clooney movie that everybody thinks is shitty. I haven't even watched it yet. That's on Apple TV. Why? Because they threw 2 very popular actors a shit ton of money to do a movie on Apple's A24 distro. So, again, it's going to be good to see. But CES also has a bunch of crap. There's stuff that you just sit there and look at and go, why do I even need this? There is no reason for me to need this. The first one is Razer's new chair. I don't understand why you need this.
Whoa.
What?
Are you serious? You don't understand that? Okay. No, that's fine. That's fine. Go ahead. Continue. I have a couple questions for you after this is over.
Oh, Razer's new chair. Yeah, I'm gonna get it. I'm sure. Like, I don't even want to continue now. I don't understand Razer in the first place. Razer, I have so many problems with Razer equipment and just they create stuff that doesn't need to be created. Like their stupid monitor that's got an extra wide base, which is great, but then all the wires go through. Like there's stupid shit that they do. And their software is probably one of the worst for RGB controls ever. Everything I've tested over the years has felt like it was rushed to get out. Like they're just branding stuff that comes out of China, out of a bulk order catalog. And I don't understand why they keep doing it. Well, now they have a chair that's going to heat or cool you called Project Aurelie. It's a fanless cooling system combined with PTC heaters in your chair. Why do we need that? I don't understand.
Okay, so it cools or heats depending on what you need at that point in time.
Okay.
So in the summertime in the studio there, does it get warm?
Sometimes.
Would it be nice to have a little bit of cooling in the chair?
No, I don't like heat. I just
so
don't.
No, okay, fine. It's an acceptable answer. It's not a right or wrong. It's your preference. So in the wintertime, does it get a little cold in the studio?
It's cold right now.
Okay, would it be nice to have like a warm chair that you're sitting in?
Okay, I'll go with that one. because I do like my
so
heated seat in
now,
my truck.
now my next question is: in your truck, does
Yep.
your driver's seat, have heating and cooling, and do you
yes,
use
it does. Yes, I do.
And do you use it?
I use the heat. I don't use the cooling.
Okay, that's totally superfluous. I don't know why you would in your car. I mean, you're just driving.
That's all I'm doing. I just want to drive. So there's no price or availability on this chair yet, but I'm sure it's going to be like $900. And then
I would be highly surprised if it was less than $750. I don't see them doing that based on what they charge just for their normal crappy chairs. Yeah, I don't see this being less than $750, and it would not surprise me if it broke $1,000.
yeah, not even a little. And one of the most useless things, how do you tell that your company really doesn't even care about you anymore? For instance, I've looked at some staff, like my staff. I've asked my staff, like, hey, are you okay? I check in with them, their mental health as well.
I was going to say they send you a happy anniversary card on the death of your spouse day, but
Free.
What?
So I'll check in with them, make sure they're okay. Some of them will come to me and ask me my advice on something, and a lot of times I just try to take care of the staff. And I try to accommodate them to the best of my ability. But another example would be like I'm on vacation this week, because after you've been at a job for a while, you can tell when you're getting burnt out and you need to take some time off. Unlike when you work in the corporate structure where you can take a sabbatical for a month or two just for shits and giggles. But I digress. I'll talk about that another time. Now, a Swiss company has a device that you can spit on, tell you how stressed you are. I can see this happening in your yearly or monthly review. Hey, Chris, could you just spit on this stick for me? We're going to see how. Oh, see, it says here that you're extremely stressed. I think you need to take some time off. The next promotion's not for you, buddy.
Yeah,
This is just bad.
You know, the sad thing is how much this is gonna cost to get one reading off of a person.
Yeah,
we solved this problem like 30 plus years ago. It's called a mood ring. You can get them for $0.25 in those little plastic balls. Leaving the Chinese restaurant. Ridiculous.
It is one of those ridiculous things that comes out of CES. Don't use it for military or critical care. Let's use it for telling us that the Walmart employee that just spit on a customer might need to take some time off for being too stressed because he's covering everybody else's shifts. I hate when they do stuff like this. It just angers me.
Designed to measure levels of cortisol in saliva. Yeah. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say if you got enough cortisol in your system that is showing up in your spit, there's been some other warning signs that shouldn't have been missed.
Yeah, exactly. All right, that's about it. We're going to cover some other CES stuff next week. Glad to be back.
That's literally gives like new meaning to he was spitting mad.
Yes, it does. All right, so do you have anything else this week?
No. Snowmageddon's over with.
Yeah, all the snow's going away.
We only got about 4 inches, so.
Oh, we aren't even calling it late over around here. So that's it for this week.
Although we're supposed to get another winter storm about this time next week, and supposedly it's going to be worse. So I might get some time off next week.
Nice.
Yeah. All right. Man, if I can't get out of my driveway, I can't get out of my driveway.
Right. All right. So that's it for this week. 10's down. Show's over.
Whoop, whoop.
So you can find more of this garbage at bgfgonline.com. You can also send us an email with your questions or suggestions at bgfgshow@gmail.com. Find our podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Overcast, Podcast, Castro, Castbox, Podchaser, and YouTube. Thank you for listening.